Hey butterflies, it's your girl Pam, and I want to welcome you to a new segment. It's me getting out of debt, and I want to take you guys along for the ride. I want to share my story with you, and I'm gonna be honest, I've struggled, but stay tuned. Alright butterflies, this is the second time that I've taped this. The first time I taped it, I was being very honest, very vulnerable, very transparent. And evidently the devil does not want somebody to hear this message, so I decided to retape it and make that devil out of a lie. So, I know that sometimes obstacles come in our way, and it was just so easy for me to shut up this camera, and it might not be taping this time, y'all. The button looks the same way that it did the last time I taped it, but I'm going to do everything I can possibly do, because in my heart of hearts, I truly believe that somebody needs to hear this message. Somebody needs to hear my story and know that they too are going to be debt free. So of course, this is tied in with Dave Ramsey, God bless his soul. And I want to kind of tell you my journey. A little bit of this, because it is transparent, can kind of be a little hard for me to even share with you guys. I'm just going to be honest. But I cannot go against what I've been told to do. My spirit is telling me that the story needs to be told and somebody needs to hear it. So I'm going to go with that and let the chips fall where they may. So about 20 years ago, the twins were a little less than about 2 years old. I had to file bankruptcy. Bankruptcy back then was not like it is now. It wasn't. I filed bankruptcy. I was embarrassed. The person that was my confidant, other than my mother, was my best friend, and I didn't tell her for years. For years, I was that embarrassed. I was pregnant. I was working at a delivery service, and I was working full-time hours. However, I was considered part-time. When I got pregnant with the twins, I was high risk. I was told to bring in a letter that they would pull me off of the road and put me into the building. And then his boss, which was my boss's boss, said, nope, she's a liability, won't do that. So they sent me home. I was about 3 months pregnant, so I had about 7 months to go. So I asked my ex-husband to please get a second job until I could push these babies out and I would go right back to work. And he told me no. He told me no, he was not going to work a second job for somebody else, because he had done that with another girlfriend, and it wasn't appreciated, so he wasn't doing it anymore. And I'm like, I'm not your girlfriend, I'm your wife, and I'm carrying your 2 loads over here. Could you help a sister out? And he just refused. That just spiraled into the dissolve of our marriage. You know how you sign for a loan way back then? They don't do it now. But back then, you would sign for a loan, and then you would put down things for collateral. I put down a toaster. My husband worked second shift, and a man came to my door to collect a toaster. I was scared to death. I had these 2 newborns and little toddlers running around, and this man shows, not at my front door, at my back door, that were, windowed. They had the little windows where you could see in. He could see me, I could see him, and he was asking for the toaster and everything else that was on that list. And I was like, I cannot do this. So I found out about bankruptcy and I filed. You would think that I learned. I didn't. Fast forward 10 years, I'm pregnant with Janae. Got laid off from work. My third ex-husband, Janae's dad, decided that he wanted to be with his mistress. So he kissed me on my forehead, left, and forgot to tell me that the house was being foreclosed on. He left when I was about 6 months pregnant. And so when I was giving birth to Janae, I called him to tell him that my water broke. He told me to call the doctor. he would, and to call him back once I heard from the doctor. I called him back and he went bowling with the mistress. So I went through labor. Thank God for two good friends, Chandra and Erica. Erica was in the delivery room with me, and she was the first person Janae saw other than me. And so I went on, got myself together, but the bills were piling on. They were calling about the mortgage. They were coming to pick up my vehicle. Everything was in disarray. I was just starting the daycare, wasn't making enough money, and so I had to file bankruptcy again. Yeah, you heard me, twice. Uno, dos. So I was in turmoil. I didn't know what to do. I just felt worthless, honestly. I felt worthless. I felt bad. I didn't feel like I could take care of my children. There was no option of letting them go. I had to figure this out. And so I did my best to climb out of it, but it was always in survival mode. It was always where I was just getting by. You know, I would have these plunges of, you know, when income tax would come, it would last for a while, and then I would end up back into the same situation of not having enough, never feeling enough. Probably one of the hardest things I had to do is during Christmas when I didn't have enough for my children, and their godparents, thank God for them, they made sure that they had bikes that particular year. Fast forward, my best friend said, hey, why don't you think about doing this habitat thing? And I'm like, I don't think they're going to help me. Honestly, I didn't even know what habitat was. I heard of it. I knew it was people volunteering, but you know, I didn't know if it was like Section 8. I didn't know if it was a government handout. I didn't know. Not that I was above it. I just didn't know. So she encouraged me to fill out for it. I told her that I didn't want to. I did it anyway. To this day, I have no idea where that application went. All right. So another year passed. I decided to go. In the time frame of going to the orientation on March the 1st, they told us I wanted my girls to have a bedroom to themselves. So I had put them through so much. So that was the least I could do, is let them have their own bedroom. They said that they didn't make 4 bedrooms. I would need one, the twins would need one each, and then the baby. I came home and I told my best friend, I said, they don't make 4 bedrooms. Maybe I should just go the commercial way. And she said, they may not make 4 bedrooms, but God will. To this day, she still doesn't remember that. They gave us 30 days to fill out the paperwork. I said, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I'm going to go head first. So I just jumped in and I got my paperwork in within a week. I got a letter. I turned it in that Friday. I knew they weren't going to get it to that Monday. I got a letter that Wednesday and said, look, we need about 2 months to process through all of these applications. So give us 2 months. I said, okay. I'm a patient person at this point. What do I have to lose? That same night, they said they were going to be there in 2 days. Now, I don't know about y'all. And I'm not trying to sway you to my God or anything like that, but let me tell you how good he is to me. I saw straightforward in my life. He told me the letter said 2 months. The phone call said we'll be there in 2 days. They came in, they did my interview. I was waiting for the process. Knew that was going to take a little bit of time. I got a phone call from one of my other good friends. I didn't know her at the time, but I had decided that I was going to do the Lowe's bill. They did it every year on Mother's Day, and I was going to sow into somebody else's life, regardless if I got regardless if I got the house or not. So that was it. So went on, and she called me, and she was like, "Hey, my name is Mardina, and I am wanting to find out if you want to do sweat equity hours this weekend." And I'm like, sweat equity, I haven't gotten accepted into the program. Now let me give you a little backstory. With Habitat, you still have a mortgage, but you don't have interest. You still pay property tax. You still pay your insurance. All of those things. It's just an interest-free loan. I still had a down payment, and a part of the program was for you to do sweat equity hours. You go and help other people build their homes. They come and help you build yours. And you had an educational part, which was Dave Ramsey, Financial Peace University. And so at that point, I said, ma'am, I don't, I haven't gotten in the program yet, but I'll be glad to help you if you need the help to build your house. And she said, no, if I'm calling you, you got the house. And I was like, oh my God. I said, I can't scream because I had the daycare kids there. And I said, I can't scream right now, ma'am. I said, my daycare kids are asleep, but all I can tell you is that I appreciate it, and I'm going to just sit here and cry. And she said, it's okay. I'll sit and cry with you. And we've been best friends ever since. And so anyway, with that said, just to once again show you how God moved, I was supposed to get a 3-bedroom because my girls were the same age. My baby would have a room, and then I would have a room. The lady that was supposed to get the house that I actually live in right now, she went on workman's comp 2 weeks before. Mardina told me at the beginning, if they're there, you get there before they get there. As far as building, you don't leave until they leave. You make sure your down payment is paid, and you do your educational hours. I followed everything she told me to do. And so with that said, guess who was next in line for the 4-bedroom? That would be me. They don't make 4 bedrooms, but they had to because of the lady's dynamics, and they made her a 4-bedroom, and she wasn't able to take it, and so God made way for me. She eventually got her 4-bedroom in another county, but she did get her 4-bedroom. So with that said, they told me at the orientation the process would take anywhere from up to 2 years, and I went to the orientation in March 1st, and I moved into my house the same year, December the 8th. So you can't tell me what God won't do. You cannot tell me. So with that said, fast forward, I was looking at YouTube as I usually do, and Dave Ramsey popped up. I was like, oh, I remember this guy when I had to take his class with Habitat. And he started talking, and I ended up hearing them talk about the debt-free screens, and I was hooked. And then they took the people that were doing the debt-free screens, and these people had lots and lots of debt. Almost made mine look like pocket change. They would take their debt-free screens, and then they would do what's called turning points. And turning points would give us the backstory of how they got into debt and how they got out. And I was just in absolute love. And so I started to look at my own debt and was like, maybe I can do this. You have to realize that being a single mom, I don't get upset about it. I'm not envious of anybody else that has a partner. It doesn't bother me as far as that's concerned. Would I love somebody in my life? Of course, but I don't get upset that I'm a single mom. So I want to make that clear. However, you get into survival mode, and when you get into survival mode, you're not sure. You can't see the forest for the trees. You don't understand that Dave wasn't talking to me. Not this black woman, in Georgia. He couldn't have been talking to me. That's a single mom of 3. He could not have been talking to me that I could be debt free, that I could pay off, that I didn't have to have creditors, that I didn't have to have this chokehold around my neck, because in January, when my taxes came back, it was a free-for-all. We had a good time. I spent wisely. I did repairs to my house and improvements and things of that nature, but we enjoyed ourselves. And then right after vacation, I was very rich in vacation, but the day after I was very, very poor. And that would go on from July, August, back until, once again, taxes roll through. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to feel like that. I don't ever want to feel that feeling again. So this is why I'm doing this debt-free story, is because I'm climbing my way out. And I want you guys to join me, anybody that wants to. I'm a single mom, so yes, I'm talking to the single moms. You can do this. But I'm talking to men, women, wives, husbands, children. I don't care. I just want you guys to join me on this new walk I'm going on, to get rid of debt, to live debt free. And yes, I'm going on Dave Ramsey. I'm going to do my debt free scream. It might not be next week, it might not be next month, it might not even be next year, but I'm going. You know, so I just want you guys to join me on this. I hope you do. We're going to talk about the different baby steps. We're going to talk about the process. We're going to talk about how it feels when you scratch off and say I paid something off. So I want to take you guys along for this journey too. You know, Pam Meets World is more than, that's why I called it Pam Meets World. I'm more than one. I got so many facets to me. And this is just another facet. And so I want you guys to join me. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you're new, welcome. Welcome to the channel. To all my loyal subscribers, I love you guys to the moon and back. So make sure you hit the subscribe button below. Make sure that you give this a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so it'll let you know when I upload. And until next time, butterflies, love you.